Hello, everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Welcome to another 12 Days of the Comic Source presents Bad Idea. Celebrating Bad Idea as we march down to Christmas. Rocky getting to experience these stories for the first time. And I got to say, reading Escape from Wyoming brought back a lot of memories because not only had I read it previously, but this was part of the second wave of Bad Idea books, 7 books that were released as their second season that coincided with their Fan of the Year competition, which for those who don't know, I was crowned Bad Idea Fan of the Year.
Yes,
Uh,
great.
and
You were.
I don't say that to brag, but I say that to bring to mind the challenge that went along with this Escape from Wyoming series, which was to reenact a scene out of the book, which I did. And there's footage somewhere, probably still exists on the internet. Super embarrassing. I played both the sheriff in the story, and then I switched off and I played the alien cop that was framed and was in prison. Super cheesy, terrible acting, no special effects. I think I was using my drill, my Black and Decker drill. I don't have any guns. I was using a Black and Decker drill as a gun.
Uh,
Yeah, so pretty embarrassing, but it's out there. Anyway, Escape from Wyoming, 3-issue series, came out in 2021. Written by Robert Venditti. Seems like we're talking about a lot of his books these days, which is great because he's one of my favorite comic book writers. The art is by Jorge Monlongo, and then letters are by Troy Pateri. So this is just a really fun series. There's not a lot to it in terms of, there's themes and ideas and depth to explore. It's not that kind of comic. It's just out and out fun, a really wild ride. So you got to check it out for the first time, Rocky. What'd you think? Where does it stack up?
it's entertaining. It's entertaining. Again, this is it's sci-fi fun. Sci-fi fun. I like the central conceit. It actually threw me. I wasn't expecting. I got a little bit of misdirection right in the first issue. With I understood the general concept that Earth was a prison planet, but it's actually a very specific place on the Earth. And it's right under Yellowstone National Park. And I didn't realize that when Yellowstone National Park was made a national park in 1872, it was done that way specifically to create a prison underneath Wyoming, which is an intergalactic prison where all the dregs and all the terrible people in the galaxy are. The worst place in the universe, the worst prison planet on in the universe is apparently Earth. And that's where our hero of the story, Lieutenant Dunn Five, uh, presumably framed. He's one of the galaxy's best cops. He's framed and he's sent. He's framed and he's basically sent to spend the rest of his life or a good long sentence on Earth. And he ends up meeting, of course, some Earth police officer, a Sheriff Holiday, in the midst of what amounts to a prison break on prison Earth under, or I guess, escape from Wyoming, as all these prisoners do, and it leads to quite a 3-issue adventure for both the superhero, I guess the heroic cops of the tale, Lieutenant Dunfive and Sheriff Holiday, who is the Earth hero. And I thought it's a lot of fun. And Jose uh, Monlongo on the art,
Yep.
definitely something I enjoyed his art because he had a lot of fun drawing all the gory scenes and the chewed up police officers that were basically eaten by some of the alien species that escaped from the prison underneath Wyoming. It was very well done, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. A good dialogue, good fun had by all. What about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a favorite of mine. I talk so much about really enjoying comics that make me think, but once in a while you want a comic that you don't have to think, right? You can
Yeah.
just read it, you can just enjoy it. There is a backup in, as there are in most Bad Idea books, a B-side in Tankers #1 that shows President Abraham Lincoln signing the intergalactic treaty that allows the aliens to create a supermax security prison underneath Yellowstone National Park. So if you're curious, that was kind of a sneak peek of this Escape from Wyoming. Obviously, that's written by Robert Venditti as well. He knew this story was coming at a later time. So yeah, done five. Maybe the one character of the aliens that's kind of noble and kind of admirable, and then you have the sheriff. What is it, Sheriff Holiday, who is obviously his human counterpart in a way, a little bit of a team up kind of buddy cop. But done five, yeah, he doesn't want to take bribes. So even though he's one of the most decorated police officers in the intergalactic police force, he gets framed and sentenced to life in prison with no parole on Supermax Earth. Meanwhile, one of the guards there is tired of being there. So not only are the prisoners that get sent to Supermax Earth serving a life sentence, so are all the guards. They're called monks, actually, and they're volunteers, and they don't realize what exactly they're getting themselves into, because once you're there, you don't leave either as a guard. And he's feels taken advantage of, and so he sets up a situation along with some prisoners that's going to allow him to escape. The prison transport comes in once a year, so their plan is to escape right before the prison transport comes, jump on the prison transport, leave the planet. And what the three prisoners that he schemes with to escape don't realize, but this corrupt guard, Vic, does know, is that once prisoners have escaped from the Supermax, a 90-minute timer starts. And once that 90 minutes is up, a quantum bomb goes off and all of Earth is vaporized. This is kind of the failsafe, right, to keep the galaxy's most dangerous criminals from escaping. And so that's when the warden goes to Dun 5 and says, hey, none of us can actually leave the prison. You can. You used to be law enforcement. Why don't you go out and try to stop these prisoners? Because he doesn't realize that Vic has betrayed them. The prisoners take Vic. They pretend to take Vic as a hostage. It's part of Vic's plan. And so he thinks it's just the three prisoners. And I love it that Dun 5's like, well, why? What makes you think that I'll do this and I won't just run too? And the warden tells him about the countdown. He's like, first of all, there's nowhere to run to. All of Earth is going to be vaporized. Second of all, it's a chance to prove you are who you say you are. You say that you're a good cop and you didn't do the things they accuse you of doing. We know that to be true. So what follows is kind of an extended chase scene, if you will, with Dun 5 along with Sheriff Holiday, who stumbles upon all this in the kind of his own backyard and teams up with Dun 5. Dun 5 earns his trust, and they fight to eliminate the prisoners and save the Earth from blowing up. So it's a heck of a lot of fun. There's really not much more to it than that. There are some great scenes between the sheriff and his young daughter. She's a high school student. You can imagine what it's like being a high school student in a small town and your dad's the sheriff. So Venditti has some fun with that. So yeah, it's a really great story. There's one of the issues has a backup that ties in with the hero trade. There's another one that has to do with a drug deal gone bad for a B-side, and then the final B-side is about a boy and his sister whose father apparently is head of an organized criminal organization. His dad gets killed. They get put in protective custody with their kind of estranged aunt who's kind of weird out in the middle of nowhere. And then years and years later, he comes back for revenge and to take back his father's business. It's in black and white. I'd never seen Juan Jose Reap art in black and white. Oh my God, it's so amazing. It's by Matt Kent. He's the writer for that Reap art. And God, I want more of that for sure, because that's fantastic crime noir. In terms of the Jorge Monlongo art you mentioned in the main story, so this is what really makes it work. Like, the story's fine and it's fun and it's entertaining, but seeing Monlongo get to cut loose, exaggerated anatomy, big explosions, aliens, tentacles, some very cartoonish, blood and guts. It really works with these kind of minimalistic backgrounds. And for me, like, this would be an amazing animated show. The art style, to me, it reminds me of like an adult Looney Tunes version, right? Like Bugs Bunny, like that style of art. Or The Grinch, right? That's that same style of art, often directed by famed animated director Chuck Jones. So if you were to do this in that style, right? Like, obviously it's going to be more violent and bloody or whatever, but in that Bugs Bunny, in that Looney Tunes, in that Chuck Jones style, with the minimalistic backgrounds, or a lot of times the backgrounds are just silhouettes and what have you. I mean, so often Rocky and I are reviewing like DC books. We talk about um, lack of detail in the backgrounds being like not good, right? Being a detriment to the story. Here it works because it pushes all the action up front, and being that it's humans, being that it's or aliens rather, being that it's kind of this exaggerated anatomy, it really makes that work and the action pop off the page. So yeah, if anything, I mean there are some bad idea books. I think one of the ones we reviewed yesterday, Rocky mentioned The Lot, would make a fantastic Netflix show. Obviously, we want that to be live action. This would be great animated, but it'd have to be, in that Invincible style, where you can't sugarcoat it. You can't make it G-rated. You got to let all the blood and guts hang out, and you got to just, give it that PG or PG-13 rating. So
Yeah.
a lot of fun, really enjoyable, and just continues to show the variety and diversity in bad idea stories.
This had a little bit of a Rick and Morty. It had a little bit of a Rick and Morty
Yeah.
vibe to me, to be honest, and even some of the humor. I mean, as Sheriff Holiday and Lieutenant Dunfive are trying to communicate with each other, and Halliday is completely confused. How the hell are we even understanding each other? He doesn't understand. There's obviously a universal translator or something going on. I don't. It's never really answers the question, but Halliday in particular. I think most of us readers were experiencing what's going on through Sheriff Halliday, because like we readers, we don't actually know what the power sets or what the powers and how strong these aliens are. What we know, one is like one eats creatures, and we even, and in fact even Dun 5, he, instead of throwing a punch, he has a massive tongue that just shoots out and knocks out Halliday at one point. I mean, it's just crazy. So we're with, as the reader, we're like Sheriff Halliday. We're discovering this for the first time, even though we're introduced to the aliens up front. We still don't really know much about them, other than that they look different, and that they have this prison on this terrible place called Earth. And so, but so it's what we think we know that sort of lures us into a false sense of security as we're reading the story, and it's just fun. It's a good fun story, and yeah, it's 3 issues long, and it's funny. It didn't take me long to read the 3 issues, but I was engaged, and I look forward. I went right to the next issue. I was engaged. I wasn't wandering. My mind wasn't wandering off like it has been, as it does at times, because you and I read a lot of comic books, and yeah, this has been a lot of fun. So I got to say, I mean, we're firing on all cylinders. This is day 6, is it not? Day
Yeah.
6 of the Comic Source presents a Bad Idea, and so yeah, this was a good idea, doing the 12 days of Bad Idea / Comic Source.
Yeah, the other thing we get like, the name like Escape from Wyoming, get a little bit of a vibe of like Escape from Witch Mountain, because we get a hint on the very last page that again it's an idea that can be returned to at the end. Um, Holiday had collected all the alien body parts. Obviously, didn't want anybody finding them, and he goes banging on the door before Dun Five took the prison transport and left Earth, probably to go clear his name. He gave Holiday this wristband, told him where he could find the prison. So he shows up at the prison door knocking, and the warden's like, "What's going on? Who knows we're here?" And Holiday's like, "Yeah, do you have any jobs? Here's my resume." And he opens the trailer that he's been pulling with his sheriff car, and all the alien body parts are packed there, and it says, return to Escape from Wyoming. So again, Escape from Witch Mountain, Return to Escape from Witch Mountain. Those
Yeah.
Disney movies back in the '70s, a little bit of that vibe. So yeah, you're right when you say Bad Ideas firing on all cylinders, and the chance that Robert Venditti, Matt Kent, these other writers that have so many ideas, they get a chance to cut loose, get a chance to take as much time, as much space as they need to tell the story that they want to tell. A lot of times you're not going to be able to get a green light on a story that's as off the wall as this is at a traditional publisher. So yeah, we're thankful for Bad Idea, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun to review these books with you, Rocky, and to have you experience them for the first time.
Yeah, no, yeah, like I said, I'm glad. I feel like this is sort of an early Christmas present for me, doing this with you. It's a lot of fun.
Yep. So tomorrow we'll be reviewing the next of the releases from the second wave. At least I think it's the next one. It's hard to remember, but anyway, it's a one shot. Last Resort. I think it's Refuse and Last Resort. I think is the title. So anyway, whether it was the next one chronologically or not, that's one we're going to review tomorrow. So be sure you tune in tomorrow. And if you're checking us out on our YouTube channel, the Comic Source YouTube channel, be sure you go and subscribe to our audio only channel as well. That's where we typically release all our content. So just go to whatever platform you get your podcast on, do a search for the Comic Source and subscribe. Also, don't forget to head over to Rocky's YouTube channel, Comic Space Boom ! That's where we review our DC books every week. We talk about every DC book that's coming out. Typically, that goes out early on Tuesday mornings. So go and search for Rocky's channel, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of those DC spotlights when we put them out. And again, leave some comments. Tell us what you liked about the DC books or what we had to say. We really enjoy engaging with listeners in the comment section. So again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. Hope you're having a great Christmas season here with family and friends. And we appreciate you joining us as always. We'll see you tomorrow.
Happy holidays.